Just wanted to sit here and talk with you today about something that I know that you've experienced, everyone has experienced or will experience as well. And that thing is brokenness. So it's a subject that I feel is very important to talk about because we've all had parts and areas of our lives where we have been broken, chipped, chiseled away, shaved and carved, and pieces of us have fallen apart. We may have even felt shattered and things of that nature. And I can go on with Bible verses and whatever, you know what I mean? But I just want to talk to you about this because I am a broken person. And I'm sure that you're broken people. And I think that that's one reason why, you connect with me and you watch these videos is because you see brokenness in me. And that brokenness in me somehow connects with the brokenness in you. And we're all connected together because of that brokenness. So I'll explain all that here in just a moment. But the first thing I want to do is bring up with you, what is your brokenness? What are the things that have broken you? I want you to think about those things. And I know that they're very painful to you. I know that they may be things that you don't want to revisit. And each one of us has unique things that have broken us. Even if we have the same type of circumstance that broke us, the way we experience them and the way that they affect us and the way that we deal with them and accept them or reject them is different and unique for every one of us. But brokenness in itself is a very beautiful thing. Don't get me wrong. No one should sit there and be like, yes, I'm breaking. I love it. If you enjoy being broken, there's something wrong with you. Okay? No one desires to be broken. But you can learn to love the brokenness. And none of us can decide when we're going to break. Brokenness just happens. Think about objects that break. Usually the reason why they break is because the force that is exerted on them or that is pushed on them is so great that they snap, crack, or break under that pressure. Are you dealing with any sort of pressures right now in life? Were there any pressures in your life in your past that you didn't handle well, that you broke under? Is there something going on right now that is causing you to break? Realize this, that no matter what broke you or no matter what is breaking you, God will use it for good. He doesn't enjoy seeing us in pain, and he's not some sort of sadist. Sometimes things come at us because of decisions of our own, and they're a fallout from poor decisions. Sometimes it's because of choices other people have made, because there's free will. And we can't control that, and God is not going to control them either. And sometimes it's just things that happen. It's part of life. It's part of sin. It's part of death. It's part of pain. It's part of just every day. So no matter what, brokenness does come to us, and it comes to everyone. I've had a lot of brokenness in my life. And to tell you the truth, when the things came into my life and were breaking me, I hated it. I hated it. I didn't like it. It was extreme pain. It caused me early in my life to get bitter and angry and to become a bitter person. Even later in life, when I knew in my mind and my heart that it was a good thing and that it would ultimately become good or be good for me, I still did not enjoy the hurt that I had to endure through the breaking process. Now, for me, those couple times in my life that I can pinpoint where the breaking happened because God was trying to separate me from something that I refused to let go of. I refused to let go of it. Instead, when God would try to sit there and show me that I needed to let it go, I kept throwing myself on it. I kept clinging to it harder and harder. And I thought that I had to sacrifice more for it. I thought I had to, do more to heal it or to take care of it or to turn it into something better. And I do believe that to a certain degree, God wanted it to become something better. But at a certain point, after so much of me hurting and being broken by it and broken by it and broken by it, God finally said, it's okay. I've got a plan B. But the plan B does not include this thing that you refuse to let go of. And so he had to hurt me enough with it. Or I should say, it hurt me enough that I was willing to let it go. And when it went, it broke me for years. And at the time when it broke me, I thought for sure it'll return. I thought for sure I'll just be here and one day it'll come back. But then as time went on, I realized, no. I was broken because that was a disease and it was killing me. And I couldn't see it. And when I finally did that, it freed me. And when I was finally free, I was able to see what God really had for me. That he had prepared something better for me. Could it be that the thing that's breaking you is actually preparing you for something better? Could it be that the thing that has broken you or that broke you was hurting you to begin with? I'm not saying that's always the case. I'm just asking you to ask yourself those questions. Because they're questions that we don't always look at when we've been broken. I want you to think of yourself. I want you to see the circumstances of life that break us. Look at yourself as a puzzle piece. Think of yourself as a puzzle piece. And I want you to think of the circumstances and the situations in life, whether there were decisions of your own and makings of your own that broke you, or whether there was someone else, or whether it was an outside circumstance that didn't have anything to do with anyone else. That it was just a situation that was occurring in the world that no one could control and that all you could do was react to. I want you to look at those things as chisels and jigsaws and sandpaper, if you will. I want you to see those things that have broken you as things that were shaping you to be just the right kind of puzzle piece. To have the corners where you're meant to have the notches where you're meant to, and to have the blanks or the holes where you're meant to. Because not only do I believe that God is doing that to someone else while he's doing that to you, but I believe he's doing that to someone else to create a perfect match. See, because somewhere out there is someone who is broken in very much the same way that you are. But they're broken in a complementary way. You know, where you have a sharp corner, they have a recess. Where you have a notch, they have a blank. And God is shaping them and forming them, and God was shaping you and forming you. So that way when you guys come together, you fit together like a perfect puzzle piece. God did that with me and my wife, Kelly. I didn't know it at the time, but when she and I went out and we spent that first night talking and pouring our lives out to one another, we found we had so many similarities. We found we had so much in common, but in different aspects and in different ways. And I find that where I'm strong, she's weak. And where I'm weak, she's strong. And I have never found a better complement in all my life. All the hurts and all the pain and all the circumstances that broke her and broke me were making it so we could live broken, but together. And I believe that that's what's happening with you too. And I hope that you'll make the decision, or you'll be willing to accept that that is what's going on. And it's not just for relationships. It's not just for you to get together with someone and to find someone to be the one, okay? Even though I do believe with all my heart that there is that one for everyone. But it's also for us as a people, as a nation, as a world, as a culture, everything. We are all a mosaic. And the brokenness that we've all endured, we are all just waiting to be connected to each other. We're waiting to find out where we fit together with each other. And when we finally, as a people, when we finally, as whether it's a family or a husband and wife, or whether it's as a city or as a state or a country or whatever the case may be, when we finally start to see where we fit together and complement one another, the mosaic is going to come together and we are going to make a beautiful picture. And I believe with all my heart that that is what is meant to be. The only way to find out where your complement is, to find out where you fit and where you connect with others, is to talk, is to care, is to connect. Yeah, we connect on social media and everything like that, and that's great and that's important too. We connect through videos and we connect through conversation. But don't forget, you can still connect through real life. Connect at work, connect at school, connect on the street. You're sitting inside of an office waiting for an appointment. Talk to the person next to you. Sometimes it has amazed me how I connect with people. I have literally been in a whole other state and talked to someone. You know what? I've been in another country and I have sat there and just spoken to random people and found out that there was connections. Now, I'm not saying that they knew my dad or they knew my siblings or anything like that, but we had eaten at similar restaurants. We had visited the same places. We had gone to the same schools and things like that. It amazes me how we all are connected. And you'll find that. But the only way you're going to find that is if you accept your brokenness. Because when you accept your brokenness, it allows you to put it out there, to find out where you fit with other people. Now, let's go back to the broken part. It's not fun. But the other part about it is this. Let's not just look at brokenness as being a puzzle piece and being chiseled away and everything. But let's think about broken bones. Okay? Because oftentimes the reason why we hurt so much is because we're like a stiff bone. We're resistant. We're headstrong. Or sometimes we're just, walking a certain way and there's a misstep. Broken bones do heal back stronger. But there's certain things that have to happen for it to heal. Because if a bone doesn't set right, it has to be rebroken. So are you in circumstances where you feel like you're in this vicious circle and you feel like you're constantly being rebroken? Take a look. It might be that you're not letting yourself get set right. Because until you get set right, that bone cannot heal properly. You cannot heal properly. And the goal, the desire for God and for the universe and for everything that's good is for you to get set properly so you can heal back stronger. Okay? Healing stronger is the key. The other part about knowing that a bone has been healed, clinically, they usually check to see if by touch, that area where the broken bone was is tender. And as long as it's still tender to the touch, it's not healed. So think about you and in the areas where you've been broken. Are you a little touchy? When someone tries to get close and someone tries to love you, does there come a certain point where they trigger something and it sparks pain? Are you a little tender, irritable, and hurting? We all need touch. We all need to be touched by someone. And I don't mean just physically and stuff, although hugging and everything, to me, is important. I believe it's important to a lot of people. That connection that comes from feeling an embrace is important. But we need to be touched in our hearts, in our souls, in our minds, in our emotions. We desire it. That's why we listen to music. That's why we watch movies. That's why we look at art. That's why we experience nature. We want to be moved. We want to feel something. But if your brokenness is not healed, then there's areas of you that are just aching all over. So you might be moving and you might be getting by, but you're walking like someone that has a bone out of joint, or that has arthritis, or is swollen and in pain. And the trick to it isn't just dousing yourself with painkillers, numbing the pain. The answer is in the healing. Because only by healing will you be stronger, and will you finally let someone touch you without wincing in pain or attacking them back or shooting a sharp look or biting and causing them pain. Brokenness is a gift. It's a gift because not only does it make you stronger, but it reshapes you into a better person, into a finer vessel. There's verses in the Bible that talk about God being the potter and we're the clay, and that he's shaping us and forming us. And that sometimes he'll get that clay, that pot, and he'll see that there's an imperfection in it, and we're filled with them. But sometimes he's not able to wet it and get it moist and get that imperfection, that rock or that hard thing out of it, because that part of the clay has hardened already. So he has to break it and shape it into a new vessel. So taking this back into us, if you're young, congratulations. You're lucky. You're soft and moldable and pliable. You've got little rocks and chips and imperfections in you. Now's the time to deal with them, because you can get them out with just a little bit of massaging, a little bit of water, a little bit of caressing, and you'll be smoothed over. Are you older? Are you, like me, and spent some time on this earth? Well, there's certain parts of our lives that are a little more set, aren't there? There's parts of our lives that have become a little brittle, a little hard. And we know that there's areas in there that are imperfect. It's not going to get out with just a little bit of water, a little bit of moisture, a little bit of attitude, and some soft caressing. It's going to take some breaking. And we may have to reshape our whole life. We may become someone completely different. The goal is to become someone better. It may be different, but better. Don't get upset. Don't think that your life's over. As long as you are breathing, there's always hope. And as long as you are there in this world, you can do anything. Anything. That doesn't mean you can be an astronaut or anything like that. But what I mean is you can do anything. You can right wrongs. You can change things. You can apologize. You can make things right. Even if you can't make things right with the person you wronged, make things right with someone that has been wronged by someone else. Take the hurt that you caused to someone else that either passed away or won't give you the time of day, and find someone who's been hurt in the same way and pour yourself into them. You know? Let me just leave you with this. And this is for those of you who want the fairy tale, those of you who have dated and or grew up and had a horrible life and you think that you're unlovable. Okay? I had the blessing of talking to this young couple recently. And one of them ended up moving from a small town to an even smaller town. They were raised out in the foothills of California. I think he said that the town had like 300 people in it. Okay? Meanwhile, this young lady was brought up in the town that he originally lived in before he moved to that smaller town. And she ended up coming back to it and such. But she was going through brokenness and a broken home, parents splitting up, and all these other things. He was enduring similar things too, but because he was in a much smaller town, he had more of a community, and he had a lot of other things that he was being brought up with and raised with. And his values and everything were different. So fast forward years and years later, they end up coming to work together. And through process of time, they end up having a night where they talk to each other. And in that conversation with one another, they just connect. They just find that they both have a couple areas where they totally agree on, but they're different in many ways. They both love art, but one's a little bit more shy and not very sociable, and the other one is just a butterfly, you know? And here's the other part about it, though. The young lady was in a relationship where she felt controlled and used, and she was very hurt, very afraid to put her heart out there. But this man, he was taught to respect and to love and to be patient with a woman. And so he was willing to take his time with her and to let her progress as she was able to and as she felt comfortable. Well, because of that patient love, he wore down her harsh edges. And she found that that sort of patience and love and tenderness was exactly what she was looking for. And he found that her outgoing personality and her desire to just, and willingness to express her feelings and be real and to be open was what he had always needed. These two hearts with different broken backgrounds came together to find that everything that occurred in their lives was shaping them to be perfect. So when they met, they would fit together forever. God's not done with you yet. We're all puzzle pieces in the making. And even now, with me having found Kelly, with me being with her, we're still shaping each other. We're still being broken in different areas in different ways. But we're being broken together. And we're finding out where we fit in this world. I hope you feel like you fit in my world. I love you guys. Remember, God is love. Love wins. And win hearts and souls every day. Don't be afraid of the brokenness. Embrace it. I love you.